radio station.
Welcome to Fort Fritz, your one-stop for news, current events, and all forms of entertainment relating to the paranormal, the supernatural, the Fortean, and things that go bump in the night, all packaged and presented in the form of know-nothing know-it-alls, entertaining the unknown. I am your host, Fritz, joined as always by co-host Mandaddy.
Hi.
Angela.
Hello.
And Kaz.
Hey.
We... right here at Real Radio 104.1 are an iHeartRadio station. That means you can always download that app, the iHeartRadio app. Just search Fort Fritz, F-O-R-T, F-R-I-T-Z, and download all of our crazy stuff.
We got all of them.
Yeah, we got a lot of weird podcasts, way different than this show.
We have a library that's on fire.
It is.
We have
content, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Please bring your extinguisher. We
Consume our
kind of want to
content.
save some of them, please.
And also, please, at any time, text us 77031. That's 77031. You can always text into the show. Have I got a doozy for you guys?
A doozy, you
It really is
say.
a
It's been a
doozy.
while since I've had a doozy. I don't
Yep.
know if I'm ready.
Let's start with one of our favorite cryptids. Is what?
Nessie.
Nessie's right up there, but if we
Chupacabra.
have another
Jersey
favorite,
Devil.
Bigfoot.
Jersey. I was going to say
Bigfoot.
Jersey Devil.
Bigfoot was the answer I was
I
going
win.
for.
I win.
You win.
You always win.
Did you know that there are 147 sightings right now in Missouri?
Missouri.
Like current?
Missouri.
Within the past 10 years, there have been 147 sightings
10 years
of
in Missouri.
Bigfoot
What?
in Missouri.
Wow.
It's pretty
And
consistent.
if you were to consult the TV show, and I never would,
Why would
In
you?
Search of Monsters, and I don't know what station or network that's on, because I don't care. But In Search of Monsters has claimed Michigan actually is the best place to catch Bigfoot. He's been very friendly to humans, which is always good
No.
when a maybe critically endangered species start interacting with humans.
That usually doesn't turn out well. That usually
Yeah.
doesn't go well. All animals should stay away from humans.
Yes.
We are not
We are the
good.
dangerous
We
ones.
are the danger.
Cryptids, though, have been around for a long time, as everyone might
They're
know.
wary.
Nessie, I think Kaz said, right?
Yeah.
And you said the
Jersey Devil.
That was Mandaddy. From hypnogoria.blogspot.com. They have
I wasn't going to laugh. Stop.
they have an actual newspaper article that details the following. On the 21st of January, 1879, a laboring man was employed to move about party supplies. I've rewritten this story a little bit to make it a little interesting.
Moving around party
I'm
supplies.
a laboring man, and I'm here for the party supplies.
Oh, shucks, I don't mean nothing by it.
Got
The
some
Chinette.
balloons, some plates.
Yeah.
A strange black creature with great white eyes sprang out of the plantation by the roadside and alighted on his horse's back.
Oh.
He tried to push it off with his whip. Yeah! But to his horror, the whip went through the thing
Huh?
and he dropped it on the ground in fright. The horse broke into a canter, rushed onwards at full speed with the ghost still clinging to its back.
Ghost Bigfoot.
How the creature at length vanished, the man hardly knew. This terrifying ghost that clambered onto the back of this man's horse. He is known by the very clever, that's why I had to look it up. Name.
Nombre.
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 He is known, moniker. He is
Nom
known
de plume?
by the terrifying moniker, Man Monkey.
I remember seeing him at the family reunions.
That just looks like a regular ass monkey.
That's just like a chimp.
That's an ape.
Tales of the terrifying man
That's a
monkey.
chimp.
That's a bonobo.
I believe that's Getty Images. But,
Terrifying man monkey.
terrifying man monkey.
It's an ape, first of all.
So let's go back
wasn't
into
even a
because
monkey.
that was back in the 19th century. That was 1879. However, there have been other tales. In 1980, another tale recounts thusly: passing under a bridge, the person looked up to see what he described as, quote, a huge black hairy monkey, unquote, staring down at him. Interestingly, this gentleman was unaware of the local tales of the man monkey and was reportedly quite relieved to discover that he wasn't the only person to have seen a strange simian apparition in the area. So this has been going on for a long time. So I posit, is this a tulpa? Because
Ooh.
he had not known of this folklore. A tulpa, again, Tulpa, is a Tibetan thought form where over time, if one community believes in it enough, it can be
manifests.
explained. It can thank you. It can manifest.
So maybe he saw what everyone else has just created in their own mind. Tulpated.
This was
Can you get Twitter pated with a tulpa?
again in 1980.
Tulpatate.
In 1980, another tale says, passing under a bridge, the person looked up and saw, quote, a huge black hairy monkey, unquote. He had no idea that that was even a folklore.
Or maybe there's just this monkey hanging out in the neighborhood that you really need to deal with. And they're like, oh, you can't do it. That's man monkey. No, it's just a monkey. You get rid of the monkey.
You try to hit man monkey with a whip, though, it goes right through him. So what are you going to do?
That's ghost man monkey.
So I have something else that's equally shocking from, go ahead and laugh now, Pelicanist.
What?
Blogspot.com.
What?
Pelicanist?
I'm loving your sources. I love it.
Yes.
Pelicanist.
Please tell me this.
Pelicanist, that's Pelicanist.blogspot.com. Also, a collection of local history clippings from the Barnes, Mortlake, and Sheen Times. This first one appears in the 25th July edition, 1964, but we are talking about someone called Spring-Heeled Jack.
I mean, I've heard of Spring Hill
Okay.
Jack.
Yep.
He first appeared in this publication in January 1836. Another name for him? Jumping Jack.
I like the other one better.
So here it is. There was a sovereign remedy for naughty children in Barnes Village in early Victorian times. If they weren't good little boys and girls, Spring-Heeled Jack would get them! And it seems that villagers of all ages went in fear of meeting him in the lonely lanes, but Spring-Heeled Jack did not confine his horrid pranks to Barnes alone. He was reported as far afield as who cares? And around 1840, in most of the villages along the Thames from Teddington eastwards. He was all
That's the most British thing I've ever heard. All the villages along the Thames, from Teddingsford eastward.
Chip, chip, burial.
He was all a glitter in his clothes. Anyway, this guy like wears this oil skin like bat skeleton costume, and it looks
Ooh.
really terrifying. And he can jump.
Like pre-colonial Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, exactly.
It had really good quads. Really strong quads.
Strong core.
Yeah.
Before they understood how to work your quads,
Yep.
this was just like a naturally gifted man with quads. I can see
Really,
that.
really cool stuff. Well, how would you describe this? This happened just a couple of days ago. The Sun, it's an English tabloid publication. Moment black humanoid figure descends from the sky, sending supernatural fans into a frenzy.
Is it descending or ascending? From
Just
this?
watch.
Oh, we have a video. Ooh.
This is a video.
David Blaine.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It looks like a humanoid figure just falling from the
Slowly.
sky.
Is he?
Please.
Yeah, he's kind of coming down a little bit, yeah.
Please, Rafael.
It looks like when Indiana Jones did the leap of faith in the third
Yes.
Un hombre.
one. Es un hombre.
Hey, there it is.
They're
Yes,
way
Mom.
away from it now. They're trying to zoom in,
It went behind the.
Wait, where's this?
They
went
can't
behind the
find it
tree.
anymore.
I can't see it no more.
and
It's right
then
there.
There he is.
It's making some children cry, which is a classic sign of supernatural stuff. Because they're wusses.
The way it's just standing upright and not moving at all.
Yeah, no, that's creepy.
It's creepy as all.
Yeah, I don't like it. Where is this?
This is interesting. That's a really cool
You
video.
don't think that's balloons?
That's what I thought too.
Child's like, no, that's a man.
how
Wait, where was that
crazy
video?
That
is
is
that?
creepy.
Again, thank you, Angela. Just go to realradio.fm, click shows and blogs. But the mysterious black figure from floating to Earth has sent a lot of people into a whoozy wuzzy. What is going on? It was shot in, guess which American state?
California.
California.
Burbank, California.
Boom.
Points. It shows the object gently floating past the treetops and then down to Earth. So this is what is absolutely amazing, I think. When they try to zoom in on it, they see it for a little bit and then they lose sight of it.
Behind the palm tree. Yeah,
Yep.
that was that dude. That was compelling video.
Yeah, it is.
That was
That was
strange.
very creepy
Super
looking.
creepy.
So let's watch it one
If
more
it's a
time. Do
fake,
you want
like
to?
hats off to the faker, because that's like a weird.
I mean, you
that's-
can't. It just does look like a body. It could be.
It
just
could
a
be
group
fake,
of
absolutely.
Yeah, it could be a group of balloons to made look like it, but just
Well,
the way
it's
just-
walking at one
It's
point.
just-
Mary
it's definitely walking.
Poppins.
it's-
All right. All right, so let's watch it one more time, okay? So it's at dusk. It's floating above a tree.
Oh, it's so
It's
weird.
walking like it's
Is
moving,
that Jesus
right?
Christ?
It's-
Please.
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 Mom, es un hombre. Es un hombre.
They lose sight of it here, which I think is really compelling because that's when they lose sight of it.
It went behind the tree and I can't see it no more. Oh no, it's right there.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Which reminds me of the Death Stranding.
It just looks like Galactus's, herald coming to Earth.
It's really creepy looking.
It is super
interesting.
scary.
That is very interesting footage.
That's realradio.fm. Just click shows and blogs. See the footage of a man pretty much spacewalking back down to Earth. Or it could be a new type of weather balloon. We don't know. Coming up, Man Daddy's going to tell us about a movie he's been recently watching. Angela has a review of the new Game of Thrones documentary on the making of the final season. And Kaz has a video game coming out that George R.R. Martin consulted on. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it. You are listening to Fort Fritz right here on Real Radio 104.1.
Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Welcome back to Fort Fritz. I am your host, Fritz, joined as always by co-host Man Daddy.
Hi.
Angela.
Hello.
And Kaz. Hello. So one of the things we always encourage people to do is check us out on Facebook and Instagram. All you have to do is search at Fort Fritz. On Twitter, we are at Fort Fritz MCT.
Just yell Fort Fritz into your phone 3 times and we'll show up at your house.
Just think about it, actually, and you'll just get an ad.
There you go. That happens too, actually.
That is so creepy.
Isn't it?
And it's never something that you're really looking for. It's just something that's like kind of on your periphery of thought, and all of a sudden just throws it in there. You're like,
right.
Whoa. I saw a movie that it came out a little while ago, but it's now coming on video demand. I usually do my reviews of stuff that's coming to video on demand. I'm not going into the theater for the most part. I like to go to the theater for big spectacles, everything like that. But I hate being around large groups of people watching a movie, because I've had too many movies ruined by said group of people.
I can see you getting really annoyed with people in the theater.
Yeah, same.
I saw when I saw.
Why is that, I wonder?
Because people are bad.
Well, you also
Beer
are really
good.
annoyed by a lot of stuff.
Beer good, people bad. We can all agree with that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Kaz is correct.
I have a T-shirt that says that. No, when I went to see Age of Ultron, it was so perfect. We get to the theater, nice big stadium theater, and me and my wife are like the only people in there. And then later, a few couples get behind us. We're like, no big deal. And then right before the movie starts, a guy sits right to the corner of me and then announces every character when they come on screen. Scarlet Witch! He even announced
maybe he had some type of autism.
No, that's a very select version of autism where you only yell out Marvel characters as they appear on screen.
It could have been.
Yeah, you don't know.
That's the most. How many people have it? Mark's the only one. He's the only one who has it. I just couldn't. That's why I stay away from theaters. But that's why I usually do the video on demand type stuff, the stuff that's coming to your streaming services or to your gaming platforms if you can get the VOD. So what I saw this weekend was Us by Jordan Peele.
I've heard only great things.
Sounds really good.
And it is great, and I'm conflicted simultaneously. It's
Go on.
because it is well done. It's great. I think it's very creepy, very scary, and just like all movies of that sort of ilk, there's not too much you can talk about without giving away too much.
Right.
And
So this is a spoiler-free review of the movie Us by Jordan
try
Peele.
my damnedest to be spoiler-free.
Okay.
And so I love what he's just doing with the genre. And the movie is great. It is scary. It is creepy. If you've seen the previews, it's basically a family is on vacation, and all of a sudden they start finding that there are doppelgangers of them, and they're coming for them, basically. So you are coming for you. It's like It Follows, but to a different degree of where something's coming for you and it's you.
I feel like it could take me.
When you see the way the different yous are, it's a little different. They're not quite you.
Okay.
They're a little bit more devolved in a way.
Damn, okay.
Yeah, so they're a little more. There's a little bit more of a crazy Kaz and be with a K. It'd be crazy Kaz with a K and a Z in the crazy.
All right, that guy's whipping my ass.
Yeah, he'll take you down. Crazy Kaz will take down normal Kaz any day. It is so great. The suspense, the great shock scenes. interesting plot twists. But the big issue I had is that it does one of those, leaves a lot more unanswered questions. You know, where they have, there's one big plot twist that either will get you or you would have seen coming. You know, in a good or bad way.
M. Night Shyamalan, in a good or bad way.
Well, M. Night Shyamalan has had some that, once again, hit or miss. I think Jordan right now, you know, he doesn't have the same number of films, but with Jordan, what he's doing with Twilight Zone and what he's doing with this, he's just doing really well. And I don't dislike the movie because of these questions. It's one of those things that you want to sit there and talk with someone. Okay, what about this? What about this? Okay, how has this happened? How did this happen? Because there's a lot of things they just don't explain at all. How they happen, like even a little bit. You get to see it's like, oh, it's because of this. Well, who did that? Yeah, I mean, it does have a little bit of open-endedness that I could see them either expanding on or that he's just like, hey, figure it out for yourself. You know, I can't tell.
I know that the lead star is Lupita Nyong'o, right?
Yes,
and she's
amazing.
She met with a speech pathologist who kind of guided her through that like dysphonic aphasis kind of like speech impediment that she has.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a huge question with that. Yep. There's a massive question / possible plot hole with that. And being a spoiler-free review, I can't get into it. It's enjoyable as hell.
Yeah, you don't even know what I just said.
Right? You don't even know what we're talking about.
Were these all put out as like red herrings, kind of like to kind of get you off the?
No, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's just there are giant reasons that are never given of how certain things happen.
Okay,
you know, where you get to see the area that these people, you know, these doppelgangers came from. Never once they show who made the doppelgangers. Or what was the true purpose of the doppelgangers? And so it has this big open-endedness to it, and then there's one giant plot point. It's just so you're like, no. It's using an iconic thing from the '80s, but in a way that I'm just like,
was it Freddy Krueger?
No, don't mess with Freddy, man. That is such a bizarre series of movies. The very first one is the scariest movie ever. Been rebooted already once with what's his name?
Earl Haley.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was great.
That was like about 10 years ago.
Was it good?
It was not bad.
I thank you, because everyone just took a massive pile of manure.
It
on
wasn't
the movie.
great. It wasn't great. It wasn't anywhere close to the original, but it was not bad.
They stopped every planned sequel of that, so it was just kind of like, okay, we have nothing to, and the movie's over. Okay.
No, well, that's the whole thing. They just keep rebooting things. We've had 3 Spider-Men.
That's true.
Spider-Man.
Because there's 3 of them.
There are.
If there are 3 of them, it's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's Spider-Man, and then 3 Spider-Man.
Okay, so let's say
I would give it
out of 7 beard pulls.
Out of 7, I give it a solid 5, up to a 6 maybe, because it just depends on how you're going to go into it. If you're going to go into it as that type of person, if you're one of those type of people that just sort of watches a movie with their arms crossed, going, oh, okay, no, you can't do it, no, you're not going to enjoy this film. Don't watch this film. If you're someone that can go into a film and enjoy an experience that's going to throw a lot of questions out at you without giving you all the answers, then I think it's just a very, very well done movie. I think the scares are great. I think the tension is great. The use of music is really interesting, and like interesting songs during scenes you wouldn't expect it, and just really, and the performances are great. I think she does a great job in the lead. And so it's extremely enjoyable movie, but don't go into it thinking everything's going to get answered to you and everything's going to be handed to you on a platter. You're going to leave that movie with a lot of questions. And so that you're the type of person that really ticks you off, you're going to get really ticked off. Like the people who got mad at The Quiet Place.
Yeah,
like,
right.
If you thought The Quiet Place didn't answer anything, try this one.
Or the people who got mad at The Silence.
That guy's mean. No, that movie explained everything, and what it explained is this movie sucks. That's what it basically said.
Well, 6 out of 7 beard pulls is...
I give it 5 to 6.
6.
5-6, depending on what type of person you are and what you're looking for out of a movie.
So 4 is average.
Right.
So it's above average.
So it's above average.
But way above average.
It could be either like, okay, that's a good movie, but blah, blah, blah. Or you can go, man, I really enjoyed that experience. Because it is kind of more of an experience, and it is going to make you question things. And the one thing we'll talk about once y'all see it, it's very unique.
Nice.
Very unique, as everything Jordan Peele seems to do. I mean, the way that guy has taken over the movies and Twilight Zone and everything is just amazing.
He's been great.
I only knew him from Key and Peele. I never saw him on Mad TV. I never got into Mad TV. I
don't
knew
think I
him
saw
from
him
Key
in
and
Mad
Peele.
TV either.
Yeah, that's where they came from.
That's when it was like really bad
yeah.
Mad TV.
Yeah.
I
going.
never saw one episode of Mad TV that made me laugh at all.
When they stopped making fun of racial stereotypes.
Where's the fun in that?
Exactly.
Did you see Keanu, the cat movie?
Oh,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I have not.
It's very.
That was phenomenal.
It was really they really
Ridiculous.
tried everything to stay on the line between action and comedy.
Yes.
You know, they tried to take the action very seriously and the comedy very seriously. So a lot of people had a problem with it because they didn't know how to take it.
Right.
You know,
It
people
was
just
ridiculous.
want people
watch
just
this
want
now.
really bland stuff. Evidently, I want everything explained to me. And if it's an action movie, it better just be action. If it's a comedy, it better just be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, there's new movies and new TV shows coming in. They're like, okay, this is gonna be funny, sad, hilarious, goofy, tragic. Boom.
You
Take it
know,
all.
like Life.
Yeah, no doubt. Like every day on I-4.
I
It's
like,
like, ah!
yep. I like my Life's potato baked. No butter, no salt, no pepper.
Straight up.
Fritz's
Don't even-
life potato.
Don't even cut it in half for me. I'm just
Life
going to meditate
potato.
it.
No chives?
Meditate over it, eat some dessert, leave.
No, man, I
Nice.
want my life potato is that like weird potato medley that has the purple ones
you're
and the red
strange to me.
ones.
Yeah.
You throw in the garlic.
I don't
and
get
yeah.
that. I don't get
Yeah.
why that is.
The baby fingerling potatoes.
You don't understand my
Oh,
life
those
potato.
are good.
Right?
They're so good.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up, Angela will tell us about a documentary of a very beloved TV show.
heard
And
of it.
Kaz is going to be talking about Great Rune and maybe why the two projects could overlap. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
That's exactly.
Welcome back to Fort Fritz. I am your host, Fritz, joined as always by co-host Man Daddy,
Hi.
Kaz, and Angela.
Hello.
Man Daddy, if someone wanted to download something on their phone for free, how would you instruct them to listen to our show?
You go to a little thing called your store, either your iTunes store or you
Okay.
go to your Play Store for your Google, and you look for the iHeartRadio app. You get that little app, you install it on your magic phone, and you can listen to radio stations from all across the country and over 10,000 podcasts, including the only important one, Fort Fritz.
That's right.
Get iHeartRadio, put it on your phone, listen to Real Radio, listen to Fort Fritz. It's like a whole new world in your pocket.
It really is. Ooh, Angela.
No.
Angela, you have a documentary that you've been gallivanting about.
Yeah, I have been gallivanting
Yes.
about
You've
this
been-
documentary.
You've been very
Yeah.
gallivanty.
Watched it multiple times because it's fascinating.
Okay.
It is the documentary on the last season of Game of Thrones.
I want to see
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
How long is it?
70 minutes.
Oh, really?
I
It's over an hour.
think.
Wow.
I just personally love behind the scenes stuff from movies. I find it really fascinating. How many people are involved versus how many people are in front of that camera. I mean, you have like 100 people running around with wires and cameras and mics and coffee and catering and makeup and everything.
Oh.
It's enormous. The whole production's enormous. And
It's
Game of Thrones
insane.
is huge.
How long have they been producing this?
10 years.
Like,
I mean,
Oh,
8
yeah, do
seasons,
they
but
have
it's
footage
10
from like
years.
the first few seasons?
This documentary is only on the last season.
Oh, okay.
oh, that is even more like interesting because that's the season where everything just kind of was turned upside down.
Yes. And I have to say, someone posted about this on Facebook, and I agreed with them, where they were like, watch that documentary, and you might not be so pissed off about that season.
And it was
Ooh.
called what again?
What was it called?
The final season or something
I
like
think
that?
The Last
the
Watch?
last
Last
watch.
Watch,
Yes, the
boom.
last watch.
The Last Watch.
And it takes you from the first episode to the sixth episode with the different directors, David Nutter and Miguel Sapochnik. And they kind of show like all over the place, people getting their wigs put on, talking about like this is the last time putting this wig on. Like Amelia Clark talking about putting the last time she puts on the Daenerys blonde wig.
The one that's
That,
kind of crooked.
because that's such an iconic thing. That had to be such an emotional moment.
Yeah, it was. And just talking about the locations and getting people to like Iceland and dealing with like short days and weather and food and people's lives and travel and this, like, it is difficult to make something. And every episode, especially from this past season, was like putting on a movie, like a whole feature film per each episode with less money and less time to put together.
Yeah, that's where so many people got so mad about certain choices where they don't understand that $15 million for an hour and a half of epic what we saw
Badassery.
is not the same as in a movie. A movie that would have been hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, this is $15 million. So, yeah, sorry, that's why they didn't pet the dog. Okay?
Right.
You got that later on. You got that in spades
Hey,
later on.
spoilers, come on.
But, oh, come on.
What?
But
Come on. I haven't seen it a single second. All right? You're spoiling it for me.
They don't put the dog.
The dog is
You're
not-
watching the first season like, they're never going to pet that
If
dog.
you're
are they?
if you're waiting for a dog to be pet,
Dude, this is not the show
you're
for
not.
the show
No,
for you.
they don't pet dogs.
There's very little dog petting.
Very little dog
A little
petting.
bit of puppy snuggling in the first season, and then that's about
Do you
it.
know what I just realized about that, which is probably difficult to do with CGI, is the fur. Like
No,
petting,
That's
like
the most simple thing. The interaction of a person and a CGI thing. You
Yes.
can have the CGI thing, it's going to cost one thing, but when you have a person interact with it and make it look realistic, that's a little more difficult.
I feel like it's a little
They
different.
couldn't just had a meaningful like closeness.
Maybe
Just look in the eye, one of these.
I would assume like with the dragons, it's a little easier because you have scales, so you're
Sure.
not having to like account for like the way that fur moves when
That's
you touch
true.
it and everything. So
But
that's-
they're gonna put more money in the dragons because the dragons are the money.
Well,
you
yeah,
know, that's
dragons
so
are the money.
The dragons are the money,
Money
so they're gonna
dragons.
get the money.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, though, couldn't you just put a dog in front of a green screen and just
They're
make the dog
They're
direwolves.
bigger?
direwolves.
They're
They're
direwolves. They're
enormous.
huge.
But still, have a wolf in front of a green screen. Just
They're
make it look bigger.
They're bigger
They're
than wolves.
bigger.
They're like
Yeah.
this, but they're
You
huge.
couldn't just have a mechanical hand just
I think
force
He is really all in on some dog petting, dude.
they don't, there's
worth
just
a
no dog
chance.
petting.
What if
Just
he
don't
wore,
watch
like-
it for the dog petting. You're going to be disappointed.
All right.
What if you
No
wore like a
dog
green
petting.
glove in addition to the green screen
Thank
while he
you.
was
Yeah.
like, petting the dog? Then they can like CG his hand into like the thing
okay.
to do
Well,
a
that might
CG
work.
hand.
That's what I'm saying.
Actually, speaking of the direwolves, one of the first things you see, I think her name is Bernie Caulfield. She's one of the executive producers of the show, and so the people that are doing the documentary, you can kind of hear them in the background, like, "Oh, just like we're just gonna watch you work." And she was like, "Oh, okay, let me pretend I'm typing, blah blah." And someone comes in her office and was like, "This is like things that you talk about in when you're working on Game of Thrones." It's big question is how fast do the direwolves run? And because I have to think about that when
Yeah.
they were going into the battle, you know, and it was like this big deal. It's like they run 30 miles per hour. Okay. So that means now that they have to figure that out on some like 150-foot screen with the direwolf, and that adds a whole other thing that they have to do. And they're showing these spreadsheets of all these things that they have to like organize and do and think about and all these details. Which is probably why, yeah, a coffee cup was left on a table. I'm
Oopsie.
sorry, 1,000 things are going on,
Right.
1,000 moving parts.
I hope that the whole thing just end with, so that's why y'all need to shut up.
Kind of.
It's like, that's it.
Kind of. And, you know, I think one of my favorite parts, too, they did like this quick read through of that first, like the script, like the quick treatment of it.
Yeah, the table
and
read.
the table reading and watching everybody reacting to them
That's
reading
what
it the
you
first
mentioned that.
time.
I'm really interested in that.
cool.
And, you know, just watching everyone's reaction when they find out their character dies. Like Conleth Hill, who plays Varys. Like when it happens, he'd like toss his script in front of him, and
Wow.
he couldn't tell if he was upset,
Wow.
like in
Or
terms
just
of for his
making a-
Or
character.
he's just like, and I'm done.
Yeah, and I'm done,
But
and
he
it's
was
like very
completely
emotional.
stressed.
Interesting.
So,
I hated that one.
Yeah.
It was very necessary,
Yeah.
but I hated
I
that one.
got why it happened.
Yeah, it was necessary.
So this is The Last Watch. It's an HBO documentary about the last season of Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So I guess a couple of days before they released the documentary, they mentioned that, as you were saying earlier, Angela, Amelia Clark got her script. She immediately read it, and she played Daenerys.
Daenerys.
Targaryen.
And then her reading it when she got home and it just messing her up. She had to go like on a dog walk for like an hour and a half. She went to therapy, and she was trying to get another actor to kind of open up about it, but they refused to.
I guess, yeah, for Kit Harington, he hadn't read it yet.
And he was who? And the
He plays Jon Snow.
Jon Snow.
As he's reading it, because they weren't really doing a lot of lines. It was just kind of the writer just kind of reading it, and everyone's just kind of reading it with him. Sometimes they do a little bit of line reading. And Kit Harington, like, freaks out Like, you could just tell he just, like, looks over at Amelia Clark, and she gives him this look like, yeah, told you to read it.
Texty.
I told you to read it. And she was like, mm-hmm. And she's so adorable and ridiculous and silly.
She's like
she's
3'8".
tiny. And she, like, sinks down in her chair.
So she's taller than Kit Harington, or no?
I know, they're both very tiny
They're
people.
tiny
tiny
Yeah,
people.
they're very tiny people.
Coming from someone who's 5'6".
Yeah, he seemed pretty messed up about that. Like, totally was not expecting it. And I think, and also the Night King kill, they weren't expecting that to be Arya, and the whole room cheered, which was pretty
that's
great.
awesome.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool to
Do you think this
watch.
would change your opinion, Kaz? Do you think something like this, or are you set?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I think it'll be an interesting.
Because you're invested in the story in a different way than us because of your knowledge of the books. And
Well,
so
yeah, I
would
mean,
something
there's
like
just
this
a bunch.
change it?
It's completely different at this point. There's a bunch of stuff that like
it's
in the
way
books like is not even apparent in the show. So like,
But I'm just saying, as someone who is a avid fan of the books, do you think seeing the production side of the show would give you a little bit more leeway with how they ended everything?
I just felt like the pacing was a little off for me on the season, and it wasn't. I'm not like a big one of these like standing on the soapbox hating the last season.
You're not going to sign the petition to have it rewritten.
No, it's
like
it's
that would ever happen.
It is what it is. It's fine. It was good. It was just I thought they could have taken more time with it, but again, I understand that like these things are on constraints that
for
people
sure.
don't have control over. So.
Millions of dollars, too.
I definitely felt like it was very rushed, but I didn't hate how it ended.
Right? No, absolutely. They got to like the story that like they were going to do. I
Right.
just think it came very abruptly, and it didn't.
I just always kind of assumed for a lot of the actors they've been doing this for like 11 years, even though they love it.
You're done. You're done
They're
with anything
done.
after
And they're
7
famous
years.
now.
Yeah,
Kit
exactly.
Harington wants to cut his
Thank you.
hair. Like he's just done.
So,
What do you think
Angela,
about the kids? How much they've changed?
Well,
you know?
yeah.
I
And
mean,
they've-
they're entirely new
like
people.
Sophie Turner started when she was 13 years old, and now she's like 24 or 25 years old. Like
and
she's
she's
like
the
that's
dark freaking phoenix too.
yeah, she's a badass.
Yeah, she really is.
One of my favorite little things about the documentary was there's this one guy who's been an extra since the beginning, and he's always been like a Stark Bannerman somehow, like some kind
Stuck
of.
Bannerman.
And he's been like, all these different characters has died, and all of a sudden you're like, I recognize your face, and you've been in
nice.
every season.
Yes.
That's dope.
And he like is such a nerd about it. He's so excited. So
He has an authentic mid-Atlantic accent. He's like, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
he's totally from England. But anyway, his name was
Son of a bitch.
Andrew McClay. I mean, that's how much I just enjoyed. This guy was adorable.
Andrew McClay.
And he even like when they were doing the costume fitting, he was like, oh, I remember how to put these on. You got to get down on your knees. Like he's like very specific of like putting that Stark costume on, like the armor for that. Like, oh, you got to put this on this way and this on this way. Okay, I remember
old
from
hat
last
at it.
season. Yeah, it was really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching that documentary.
Did it change the way you looked at any of the actors?
Yes, but like in a good way.
Really?
Because there's some that you don't really see in interviews a lot, like Ian Glenn, who plays Jorah,
Yeah.
and like what a
Oh, yeah.
delightful, like sweet person he seems like.
Aw.
Yeah,
Angela, out of 7 Angela replicants, how would you rate the last watch? Imagine 7 Angelas right in front of you.
I'd say about 6, and then chop another Angela in half. So
just to do it, right? Because you can.
she'll be
You
fine.
get another one. You get another one all day long.
She's fine.
Do you picture all the Angelas looking the same, or like each one is a different Angela?
Oh, different Angelas. Come
And
on
then
now.
when you picture the chop in half, is it hot dog or hamburger?
That's a good question.
just the legs.
So that's 6.5 Angelas for the last watch on HBO. Kaz has some things he wants to talk about, I guess. Right?
I got some things.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, if you want to
Right.
talk about what?
it's gonna be
Anyway, Kaz has some stuff
Well-
he's going to be talking about later.
Yeah, you ain't putting him over, dog.
Yeah, well, he can go under the ropes at this time. So we'll be right back, and Kaz is just going to talk to you about like movies or video games or something. You're listening to Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Live generously.
Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Women in the world, especially her. You know it don't even matter your age, don't even matter your color. Yo, fellas, I ain't forget about y'all. This is for everybody that likes to dance. Just listen to what I'm saying and do it and take a chance. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip.
Welcome back to Fort Fritz. I'm your host, Fritz, joined as always by Man Daddy,
Hi.
Angela,
Hello.
and Kaz. ManHappy, what would you like to talk about today?
Well, what I'd like to talk about is this guy Kaz, because there's this guy Kaz.
Nice.
He's always sitting like right over to my left or so, and he loves a certain sort of video game,
What kind?
and a video game that is punishingly difficult that you can't get cheat codes that all you can do is get good at. And he loves a certain author who just won't finish books. And so it seems that the two of them may have combined.
I was thinking to myself, so J.D. Salinger wrote a book that David Cronenberg is directing? That's a video game. Wow.
Dude, why isn't David Cronenberg done a video game?
David Cronenberg should do a video game.
Oh my god! But
Anyway,
it'd
I'm
be
sorry.
like,
That's
It was like Dead Space.
aside.
Dead Space was like pretty Cronenbergian. George R.R. Martin of famed Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire. It's he is working with Hidetaka Miyazaki, who is the director of the famed Dark Souls video game series, which I am in love with.
punishing.
It's difficult, I guess, if you like if you suck, but you can
Sucks
like
to suck.
but the story there's this brilliant like nuanced story of these like struggles of these different families and these evil forces and all this stuff going on in the background that you have to literally pick up items, remember where they are in juxtaposition to different enemies, and read the descriptions of these items, because they all have like Yuri's golden cape of whatever, and then you like read the description, and it's this like long text of this guy who was the son of so and so and came to this land, and in conjunction with the weird stuff that's going on in the game, it starts to make sense. And actually the guy who I saw this it was initially a rumor, it's been confirmed that they're going to announce it at E3.
Confirmed rumor. Nice.
At June 9th is going to be E3. They're going to announce it, but
And that's the big video game, like MegaCon kind of thing?
correct.
Or conference?
Electronic Entertainment Expo.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do you think smells worse, E3 or Comic-Con? Because there's a funk at certain cons. Which
I don't
one do
know
you
what
think?
you
I
Oh,
would
okay.
say Comic-Con.
You think Comic-Con?
The costumes.
Yeah,
get
I get it.
sweaty.
Yeah, that's true. Because you're putting on something, you're not
Yeah.
taking that off for sometimes
E3's
days.
fancy.
E3, they're going to have like
It's pretty
ventilation too
fancy.
for like all the
Yeah.
nice like machines going and stuff. Everything's going to be very fan blowy.
Yeah, you have
See
to.
that?
Otherwise,
Yeah, that's
everything's just going to heat up and blow up.
Yeah, that's going to be like.
That's why you can't have
more
E3
ventilated.
in Florida right now.
Comic-Con has too many... No. Count me out. E3...
Too much alliteration.
E3 sounds... Thank you.
Okay.
Too much alliteration. E3
don't like-
sounds sleek.
I defy anyone to diagram that sentence.
Cut. Nope.
Too cumbersome on the tongue. All right, that makes sense. So anyway,
I do Karma Chameleon. That's where I stop with alliteration.
That's
You
it.
come and go.
Thank you.
You come and go.
And I dream in red and gold and green. Is Great Rune a unique story?
So right, tentatively titled Great Rune. It's going to be.
And that's R-U-N-E.
R-U-N-E. Great Rune.
Rune! Throw out the stones on the runes!
But it's going to feature. I guess he announced that he was consulting with a video game company out of Japan, and then it came to light that it was actually From Software.
And this
which
is
the
George R.R.
developer.
Martin.
Correct.
Oh my God.
This is like some of the side project stuff that he's working on.
He's doing so many side projects.
Which is fine, whatever.
I mean, a
if
ton.
one of them is a Dark Souls game, then do it. I don't care. Like, then
Word.
fine.
That is Kaz's all-time favorite video game, would you say? Number
Yes,
one?
yes, I'd put it up there. It's specifically for that point. That
Like
it's,
overall hours played?
yeah, I played all the DLCs and like got super nerdy with it. So yeah, no,
Nice.
I dig that video game.
Do you think that's better played with friend? You know, because it's
Absolutely.
not a
I've
co-op
said this to
thing,
other people. No,
but
you
you have
have
to have someone with you, so you like pass the controller back
Correct.
and forth.
You have to. You cannot sit there alone. I mean, there are
You just get so
soldiers
mad.
out there
You get
that'll just
so
like do it.
mad.
But yeah, you have to have someone to pass it off to, so you can watch them fail and watch them fail in a specific way, and go, okay, I'm not going to fail that way, and then you feed off each other's non-failures. So yeah. But so one of the cool things that I read was that apparently the initial premise is that, it's going to be this big open world, and it's similar to Dark Souls, I guess, that you'll be able to, it's linear open. You can go to these areas, but there's not going to be this big like field.
Do you just
for
fight
you to
people,
run
or
through.
is there a plot?
There's going to be a plot. So apparently there's these like separate kingdoms you have to go and kill, kill
right,
the king
yeah.
or whatever, these kingdoms.
Oh, man.
And then you get their like power,
And
right?
George R.R. Martin is affiliated. This is really
Correct.
cool.
So yeah, the nuance of story that I feel like if he's consulting on this, I don't know what that means, specifically, but
They call him once a week. Like,
like,
hey,
hey, what do you
George,
think?
what up?
so it looks dope, yeah. Kind of fun.
Do it.
That concept of the weird, separate levels almost, where you have to get the power of the thing. To me, screams Mega Man. You guys ever play Mega
Oh
Man?
my God,
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
I loved Mega Man. That
Dude,
was like
Mega
my
Man
game back in the
8,
day.
I think it came out like 2008.
They did like the reboot
or Mega Man 10, yeah. It was
on the new one.
so hard
It's so good. I loved Mega Man, but that was the cool thing. Like
Yep.
in Mega Man, you would go beat the fire guy, and then when
You
you
get
went
that
to go,
power.
you would get his power, and
Yep.
then you would go beat the ice guy, and then you could like destroy him with the fire like thing that you just got. So it was like I like that mechanic of, oh no, I can't even defeat this guy. I need to go to this
But
other
maybe I
area and do
can?
this other thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
So Great Rune, when is it coming out?
It's whenever.
It's just a
at this point,
confirmed
yeah.
rumor at this
Yeah,
point.
so it'll be look out for June 9th at E3. They're going to announce, I guess, official title and maybe show some like teaser stuff. But excited about that. And we got a release date for Sinking City, which we've been talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
June
yeah,
27th coming up. Like,
Oh, wow.
my
Nice.
God.
in a
We're
month.
soon.
So yeah,
This month, pretty much, like, because tomorrow's June 1st. That's
So
really
yeah,
cool,
June
though.
27th when that comes out, I'll pick it up and I'll have a full review of it.
I hopefully
Right now I'm
will
on the
too.
fence, so we'll see. But
That's awesome. Well, now it's time for the checkout. Like move my headphones on that one.
What
Try that again. I leaned in. I leaned into that.
Wow.
Well, now it's time for the checkout. We're going to let everyone know what we want you to check out, places, things, and stuff. What would you like us to check out there, Fritz?
I was at the neighborhood pub just a week ago, and I heard Dr. John being played.
Wow.
I thought it was really, it was absolutely amazing because when I got in, they had old country playing, like I'm talking 40s country. So I played Sons of the Pioneers, Tumbling Tumbleweeds, that has Gene
Westerns.
Autry, yeah, who was the king of the Cowboys. He's in the Country Songwriting Hall of Fame. Right after this, Dr. John played a song called Lockdown, and it was so like experimental 70s funk and
Oh, yeah.
perfect country western. So I'm going to play a little bit for you right now. Super cool,
Check
and
that out.
so this gives me, I guess, a reasoning to check out Dr. John.
You never checked out Dr. John?
This was my first invitation to.
Oh, well, a whole door of stuff has been open to you right now.
Yep.
He's been around forever. So, Angela, what would you like us to check out?
Well, this will be the last time I'll talk about my Fringe show because Fringe is now over.
Oh.
Womp womp. However, exciting news for my dance show. We did win the Critics' Choice Awards.
Yeah, baby!
Big applause, big ups, big ups. That's right.
I was
That's all
not
about
expecting
All
it.
about
I was literally walking across the lawn, and the award, and I'd run into Mike Marinaccio, who was the producer, earlier in the day. When I saw him, he was just like, "You're gonna stay around for the awards, right?" And that didn't really mean anything to me. I was like, "Yeah, sure." I just thought he was just like hoping that people would stick around.
Everybody asks that.
Yeah, like, "Oh, you're gonna be around for the awards, right?" So as we were leaving, I didn't even hear what was going on. And by that point, like, I'd been like talking with a bunch of people and really wasn't paying attention like what the awards were going on. Like, so we started leaving, and then all of a sudden, I just hear him go, like, "I saw Darcy earlier," like, on the microphone, and then people just started screaming my name, and they're like, "You won the dance show." And I was like, "What?"
Oh, that's awesome.
And I just, like, run through the chairs and the line.
Plowing
Yes.
people over, throwing
Yeah.
old ladies
It's
left
like
and right.
someone had gone up there and like just accepted it for us because they're like, "Oh no, they're not here. They're all left." And I ran up there, I'm like, "I'm here."
I'm
Like,
actually here. Like slide kick someone out of the way.
Don't discount me.
It was great. And then my friend Pam won Best Actress.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
Awesome.
God.
For Terminator, for Shakespeare Terminator, the
Nice.
second. Yeah, so she won like right after me. It was great. We were like both like screaming girls, like, "Oh my God!" Like, Blue Star in the venue got like a lifetime achievement, and which is sad because the venue's
Yeah.
closing. But
Please,
I'm
if you don't know about the venue is a great,
It's great.
amazing place. Blue Star is such an amazing artist and such an important figure in the scene, and the fact that she had this amazing place and she kind of got pluked, and that now that's going to be going and going
'cause
away.
that's where our show was. It was
Yeah.
at the venue. It was wonderful.
It's a
and,
great spot.
We were one of the first people to perform there when they first opened up in 2012. So I know it's great.
It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
Kaz, what would you like everyone out there to check out?
I recently watched Escape from L.A. You guys remember Escape
Oh
from
my
LA?
God!
Yeah.
John
Was that the one
Carpenter.
with Kurt Russell?
No, there's Escape from New York.
The OG
Oh.
one, which
And
was
then-
81.
Yeah, around then.
81?
God, 81 to 84, somewhere
Tell
around
me
there.
more.
Escape from L.A. has Kurt Russell, Peter Fonda, Bruce Campbell.
You had me at Bruce Campbell.
And it's a weird dystopian LA that he has to escape from. Again, kind of like my whole thing, right? Space prison. I love space prison. If I get a chance to go to space prison, I'm gonna go. Like if I can find out that there's like an intergalactic law that I can break, I'm gonna do it so I can get into space prison and then try to get out. Because that's what you do.
Kaz just seems like he would show up and he would just be like, "I've read so much about this place."
It's
like,
oh my god, this is amazing.
Tell me.
He's like one of those Disney geeks that goes to Disney and gets all the Disney gear and the hat and everything.
Do we get
up
free
by
food?
aliens, like
No
selfies,
free food.
like-
Okay, right on.
Is there a bee going to chase me around the entire time?
So, yeah, check out Escape from LA if you haven't seen it yet. It's an interesting.
Where, is it on Netflix or?
I forgot what it was. It was on Hulu.
On Hulu.
It's in one of the Hulu archives. I was just scrolling around. I was like, oh yeah, I haven't seen this in a while. And Stacy Keach,
Oh, I love Stacy Keach.
right?
Yep. American History X. He was on Titus.
Yeah, he was. Wow. Good callback.
Damn, Stacy Keach knowledge.
What, of course, I'd like you to check out is this Saturday, the 1st, my band Gargamel will be playing at the Hurricane Party
Hell
in
yeah.
Sanford. We're going to be playing around 7 o'clock on the main stage. They got like 33 bands are playing. It's a huge thing. That's downtown Sanford. Check it out on Saturday the 1st. We'll be playing. I always do trivia the Thursdays at 7 o'clock at Cheers, Altamont. Please come out. I do trivia Tuesdays from 5 to 7 at Lucky's in Vineland. And I do trivia the 1st and 3rd Mondays at Orlando Brewing at 7 o'clock.
Hey, man, daddy.
Yes.
ManHappy.
Yes.
Can you tell everyone to get out of here?
In a happy way?
Yes.
All right, everybody. I know you had such a great, fun time hanging out here at Fort Fritz, but I'm so sorry. But it's time to go. I know it sucks, but you gotta go. You got awesome, cool things doing. So just go out there. I can't do this anymore. Just get out of Fort Fritz. This is the end of the night. Get out of Fort Fritz. Leave and go live your lives. You've been listening to Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1. Thanks.
Until next time, pleasant dreams.